Tanzania, a land of magnificent natural endowments, vast wealth and unlimited potential. Factors such as socio-economic transformation, economic growth which averages at 7% per annum, urban population growth which is at 4.7 per annum, intensive rural to urban migration and other trends have resulted in the growth and expansion of Tanzania's cities and exacerbated the urban housing problem and dramatically hiked the demand for decent housing.
In Dar es Salaam, we normally say it is easier to look for a job than to look for a house. We have a deficit of about 3 million housing units, particularly for the affordable class, and that's the majority of the Tanzanians. So I can say 80% of urban Tanzanians are faced with serious residential housing challenges. About Tanzania, 60 to 70% of the Tanzanian urban population is living in slums and informal settlements.
Recognizing the gravity of the problem, the government of Tanzania acted decisively to mitigate the shortage of decent affordable housing.
About 10-15 years ago, the government of Tanzania started a series of reforms. We have the Mortgage Finance Act was finally enacted, 2010. You have the Unit Titles Act.
A more focused Tanzania government effort to address the urban housing problem is implemented through the Bank of Tanzania Managed Housing Finance Project, HFP.
Housing Finance Project, it's a project where it came to effect in March 2010, where the government borrowed through the World Bank a total credit of $40 million. And the project has 3 components, with component 1, development of our mortgage market in Tanzania, and component 2, development of housing microfinance, and component 3, it addresses the expansion of affordable housing through private developers.
The Housing Finance Project was created to develop the housing mortgage finance market through the provision of medium and long-term liquidity to mortgage lenders.
Owning housing means, making a person be more comfortable with the life that he lives. He has to own a house. But the problem was, how is he going to acquire the house? We have created a means. As a government, we decided that we actually have to have kind of liquidity facility to enable people to borrow.
The government has been able to borrow some money from the World Bank in order to kickstart and mortgage market growth. And it has done that through making money available through TMRC, a mortgage refinancing company.
Tanzania Mortgage Refinance Company is a mortgage liquidity facility which is in place in Tanzania to support primary mortgage lenders by providing long-term funding which enables the primary mortgage lenders to issue mortgage loans to the individual borrowers that are long-term in nature. In 3 short years, we've seen the tenures that are issued by primary mortgage lenders in Tanzania now extending. Where 3 years ago it was between 5 to 10 years, and now we're seeing tenures that are 15 to 20 years. Before, we had 3 institutions issuing mortgage loans. Today, as we speak, we have 19 institutions that issue mortgage loans. We're seeing the interest rates also move downwards. Prior to our existence, interest rates were 22% and above. Today, interest rates are between 16 to 18%. Still relatively high, but they're moving in the right direction.
We started a mortgage product in 2002. The growth was a bit slow, given that, we didn't have enough resources, to be more vibrant. The growth rate of our mortgage facility was around 18. That's annual growth on our mortgage portfolio. But with TMRC funding, it has grown up now. We are at around 24. We are growing our mortgages at around 24%.
A trickle-down effect of these concerted efforts is ownership of decent housing to the people, a key development milestone.
From the financing loan originated from Tanzania Bank, What I can say is that I've benefited a lot. I was able to build my house without stress, and I was able to get my home, which is beautiful, and I feel comfortable because it is my own house. I don't think about paying rent, monthly rent from other places, so I have to pay back for 15 years. The amount is affordable.
National Housing Corporation, a government-owned real estate company operating commercially, is a leading real estate developer in Tanzania and an innovative pioneer in the affordable housing portfolio in the country.
National Housing is supposed to be dealing with provisions of premises, both for residential and offices. I think one of the major challenges that we've had is the availability of the affordable housing within Tanzania, to see how we can be able to build the good quality of house, yet at the lowest cost possible. We started by our first pilot project. We were able to build around 220,000 houses, which were sold between $25,000 to $30,000. And I think it was quite a good success.
We see there is a boom that people now have been able really to borrow from the banks and have their own house, and this is what we call development of the people.
The initiatives for affordable housing are also being strategically crafted to cater for all segments of society, including the particularly low-income earners and people in the informal sector.
We are already establishing this, the housing microfinance fund, and that from that window, the $55 million that we cater to borrow from the IBID will facilitate this fund actually to enable for people to borrow from the fund.
The government has done is set up a microfinance fund which will enable now the lower cost housing credit through microfinance institutions to reach the majority of the poor. It has started with a small capital of about $3 million, but the expectation is that through government's own resources and raising funds through other external sources, that particular fund should grow and make available a significant amount of credit to the lower cost and the lower income population.
The Bank of Tanzania has gone an extra mile to enhance investor confidence in the housing sector of Tanzania.
The setup of credit reference bureaus, which now will be helpful to avail a credit record to most potential borrowers, reducing risk to banks and reducing also credit screening costs, and that way enable mortgages to be made available with much better information.
Alongside these strides of achievements, there is still ample opportunity for investment in real estate sector in Tanzania.
The rental market is also part of the equation, because most of about 50% of the urban residents, they are rentals actually. They are renting out rooms, homes from someone. Most of what is available, most of it is for rental market. And you see, we are a very youthful population. 70% of our people are below 35 years old. So these are the type of people who are not going to be owning their own homes.
We've been asking for partners who can work with us on affordable housing, but I always tell them we have 3 pillars that we must achieve. Reduce the cost of construction, improve the quality, and reduce the time.
In terms of opportunities in the Tanzania mortgage market, there are a number of opportunities. First, specifically as it relates to TMRC, the first opportunity is investors who are interested in investing in TMRC putting in capital to continue to support this institution, as well as investors that have sources of funding that they can lend to TMRC to complement TMRC's core source of fund, which is our planned bond issuance. We are inviting investors from different parts of the world. There is also a good opening for people who would like to come and invest in the real estate sector. The legal framework is now clear. We have security of tenure everywhere. You can get your title, you can get your investments into the urban areas.